All right.
All right.
We're good.
Been good.
Are you going to go?
Are we live?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me. You gotta
Oh,
tell me.
I did the point.
I didn't know what to look at.
Jack said, all right, here we go. And
I
started
just thought it
clapping.
was a general. All right. Well, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
All right, now we're live. Yo. It is another edition of the High Hopes Podcast presented by Miller Lite, official partner of the Philadelphia Phillies. Tastes like Miller Time Philadelphia. Celebrate responsibly. I mean, look, we got some stuff to talk about.
Mhm.
I would like to quickly thank John Middleton. We'll get to it, for being the voice in the wilderness that I freaking needed. But that, obviously, I mean, coming up later in the pod, get excited. Aiden Miller on the pod. How about it?
Yeah, no. Yeah, our guy. And
It happened already. We did it already. So
believe it or not, yes.
it happened.
So, yeah, dude, he's
You'll be able to tell by the football talk when it happened. It happened on Football Sunday.
Sure.
Yes.
He's the best, man. And
He was awesome.
gave a lot of good answers that I think people will be fired up about per usual. And yeah, he's untouchable. Just that's my only fear now is that for some reason they move him, and we got egg on our face, but it's okay because he's on the pod and long time coming. And if you were in Wilmington, for the curtain call or roll
you'll
call,
hear some cool stuff about that.
man, it was a good time. He's a good kid, and obviously we're pulling for him.
Definitely a kid. I feel old.
Yeah.
In these situations. He was great. Great talker. Like we've had, look, I won't name names. We've had some prospect type guys on that in the past that have been less good talkers. Spencer Howard, I'm talking about you. We've had some people on who've been less good at talking in the past. He is really, really a great talker.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. There's
really
cool stuff coming.
He has real pressure on him. I mean,
but
not only from this podcast, but also like actual real pressure.
Yeah. We joke about it being from us, which it kind of is, but it's also like you're the future of the franchise.
The simple. I mean, him, Crawford, and Painter
are the future. They're like the future of the franchise.
They are the
Mount
key
Rushmore
cogs of if this window is going to stay
Mount
open
Rushmore
or not.
of Phillies prospects right now.
Well, right now, yeah. Who's number 4?
Is it Caba?
It's probably Caba.
Probably Caba, right?
It's probably Caba.
Yeah.
Until we get to my perfect deadline or perfect,
yeah,
perfect off season.
2.0 coming. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
And yes, I know it's 2.0, and I know that it's like, well, you only have one perfect off season.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
I just want to know if Jack can truly commit to the bit and give us a perfect offseason every single pod until moves have been made. Because
sure,
that's what I'm expecting. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I know. I might have.
I mean, if it's a bit, it's a bit. I'm just saying.
I thought I committed to it last year, and then I tailed off.
You didn't. Yeah,
yes.
I think you did like 2 or 3, and then it was just like done. It was over. So,
and given that we needed stuff to talk about, probably would have been a better idea.
Well, considering every pod, I think we had like 5 straight. Well, this is boring part 2, part more. We could have used it.
No, I know. So it's early, but we're delivering. There's no one better at starting some things than me.
It's true.
I will start a lot.
You'll start a lot. They might not all finish.
I still haven't finished a book in a while.
No.
I'll start books.
I read so many books.
I always make it about. I get a good 3/4 of the way in.
Dude, I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. I've read 2 books in the last week.
Ugh,
I know.
God,
it's been great. Been great. All right.
What about? Hold on. What about?
What are the books about?
Yeah. What are your
The one
books
was called
about?
The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. It's like a murder mystery. They were both murder mysteries this time. So pretty good. Pretty entertaining book. If you're looking for an entertaining read, it's a good one.
The Seltzer Book Club.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got so many books. It's insane. All I do is read. It's great. I'm reading right now.
A nice shiver down the spine.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh. Bang. Right there. My Kindle on my phone.
Yeah. Well, again, that doesn't count as reading.
Why not? Of course it does.
There's
talk about this. Yeah. All right. We're moving on.
There's no ink under the fingers.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Old School over there. Yes. All right. Let's get to our guy. Like, seriously, we talked about it after the press conference with Dombrowski.
Yes.
And it's
one saving grace.
I think it's the most upset we've ever been with Dave, at least, since he's gotten here and become our guy.
Sure.
We were upset with it. We were not happy. You kept saying, both of us kept saying some version of, I hope this is not how the organization feels. This can't be the messaging in the organization. Well, thank God it's not. We're in good shape there. John, I know John Middleton, big time listener to the pod, long time listener. John, can I just, from the bottom of my soul, man, thank you. Like, I love you. I really actually love you. So for those who haven't seen it, probably a lot of people at this point, just came out this morning, an article on the
There's nothing else going on this day.
That's right.
So
people have already probably dove in with Middleton, an interview with Middleton. Yeah, I know, you're right. Wow, good point. Okay. Really good point.
How could you miss it?
if there's a day to miss it, you're right.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, to tell you about the important things happening.
Thank you.
Yes. It is exactly what I needed. Like, it is.
Listen, I will say you're shot out of the cannon this morning.
I've been down, man.
I know.
I've been looking for a light at the end of the wilderness with the team that I love.
Yes.
John Middleton gave it to
He
me.
did.
What a freaking hero.
He did.
So I got quotes. We'll get into it all, but your thoughts on the Middleton article that saved the world.
Yes, it's the most important article that ever came out about the Phillies.
Thing that'll happen today.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So my first thought was like, literally, press conferences, they just exist to see if you'll stumble. There's almost no value out of press conferences.
Don't say that. It's our job.
I know. It's
they're a pretty important part of what we do.
It's so funny to me how wrapped up we get about press conferences, and ultimately not much ends up coming out from them. But yeah, like I felt so similar, and just the whole beginning of it, again, like, great job by Gelb. But the beginning of it, where he just says, I walked in and Dave was mad too, and we're all mad. And finally, someone from the organization is saying, we're not happy with how last season went.
We feel how you feel. Don't worry.
Thank the Lord that they feel that way. And I loved how mad he got about that's baseball, because it can be infuriating when it's when it's the excuse for everything.
And it was the go-to excuse in that press conference, was essentially, that's baseball.
They got hot. What do you want us to do? Blah, 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 blah. And he just said no. And that's all I wanted. And that's genuinely what I thought was going on, was that there's no way Middleton agreed with what they said at the press conference.
Yeah, I think you 100%. Brought up that exact point on that pod.
So him coming out, saying what he said, talking about how aggressive they're going to be in making real changes, finally, and I think we said this a lot as well, admitting that we have to start having tough conversations about some of the players in this team who have been around for a little bit. You're going to have to shake it up. You have to shake it up. I keep going back to the Gillick quote in 2006 about how they had reached basically the point of, with that team, as about as far as they could go. And this team hasn't won. Now, that team and this team are totally different. This team has had much more success. But you have to change the chemistry up. You have to change the chemistry up at some point. You can't just keep running it back. And I like that it seems like they are in position to say, we're going to have tough conversations this offseason. That's really, really important. And I love the stuff about having to bring in new investors to help
to spend more money.
You know,
broader base.
Yes. And, obviously not making it all attached to Middleton so he doesn't have to lose all the money is important as well. But the idea of what they're doing in Clearwater, the idea of revamping the ballpark, and I think it has more to do with outside the ballpark than inside the ballpark. I'm sure they have to do things inside, but I think they want to make the outside area, have more stuff going on out there. But it was an invigorating kind of article that makes you. I'm now geeked up about the offseason. I can't wait to see what they do. And if it falls flat, it falls flat. That'd be really disappointing, but I don't think it will. And I think we're going to get real change this offseason, and that's exciting.
Yeah, I no longer, like last pod we talked about, man, doing the perfect offseason kind of made me depressed, because I'm like, what are they going to do? And hearing Middleton talk like that, like, they're going to do something. And it's not just a change in chemistry or in players he talks about. He talks about a change in philosophy. Like the stuff where he's
the hitting stuff.
He's like, we got guys who chase. Guess what? They have to stop. Like, it has to change. Like, and I know it's not as easy. We've talked about this with Castellanos and stuff. It's not as easy to be like, stop chasing and have him chase. But that Middleton is making an organizational focus to not just be like, well, he's 31 years old. That's who he is as a hitter. Like, screw that. Like, Middleton saying, no, that is absolutely not the case. Roy Halladay, Mike Schmidt, he tells the stories about, but he tells the stories about Roy Halladay's dad telling him how much he changed throughout his career, about Mike Schmidt being like, I had 3 different swings throughout my career. It's like, if those guys can do it, Trey Turner can certainly do it. And it felt like there was one quote in there that felt like it was like directly at Trey Turner, like where it's like, bro, like, you have to be willing to change. And these guys, and it goes to the Turner quote afterward. He's like, yeah, I know we're not supposed to chase, but you get out there and you just want to swing, essentially, is what he said. And it's like, I'm happy that type of stuff is not going to be acceptable. Like it, at least according to John Middleton, like that's not acceptable. And it can't be. It can't be.
Well, I like that they're trying a new strategy of instead of suggesting, they're telling.
Force them. They're telling. Yeah, they're like, this is gonna happen.
Yeah, no, it's important going from suggesting to being like, hey, you're doing this now.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, I think you know what though? I think it has been part of, and it's to the Rob Thompson thing, and I think Rob has a lot of good qualities, but I think one of the things that has bit him in the butt has been a little too much trust of veterans and saying like, well, they'll get there. The Kevin Long, back at the baseball card, the whole thing. It's like, you know what? We're gonna force you to get there. We're going to make you get there. We're not just going to trust you to get there. And I think that's important with this.
Yeah, I guess the one thing on top of the whole article is I do want there to, and the guys changing, that's good. I mean, I do think it's hard to tell guys to change.
It's like, look, you can't teach an old dog new tricks is a cliche for a reason.
Sure. So like, I like that he's aggressive in that aspect. I'll more see it, I guess, before I really believe it. The one like other thing I also felt in reading it is he's clearly emotional. Like he's clearly emotional, which we appreciate. There also there has to be a threshold between aggression and not blowing the entire thing up. There is a lot of there's still good.
Which
here.
I think that look, he's shown that. I mean, they didn't blow it up last year after they lost here. He's shown that I don't think he's going to go crazy.
He's not going to go crazy.
And look, to the point that I just made, and when we did our perfect offseason, like they can't blow it all up. Like it's just not feasible. Like there are not enough moves that they can make to completely and totally change this.
Yeah. And I keep going back to the trade deadline, right? And like we've talked about how
have we talked about that?
Believe it or not, we're not
those positive conversations
too thrilled with it. But his comments in the article about the farm system were exactly what we talked about.
Even the years like 20 just don't want to see that happen again.
He did not want to go through what happened in 2012 to 2018. Like Again,
we listen to the pod. We're saying, it's all good.
He's very conscious of it. And he's right. I mean, he is right. And I like that, obviously we are very pro Preston and Brian Barber.
I like that he shouted him out.
No pressure, guys. No pressure, guys. But like he's right from that standpoint of they got to make sure that the farm system is continuing to churn out players. Now, at some point, it's also going to be you can't hold on to everyone.
Well, yeah, at a certain point, you have too many. You have to trade. That's again, great teams develop guys. Some of them end up playing for the team, some of them don't.
Yeah, and I just continue to have this feeling with him that, and it's a really good spot to be in. He just really wants to build this team into a freaking juggernaut.
Yeah,
and I really, again, we've talked about this. I hope he gets the opportunity to have a parade down Broad Street and like get celebrated. And for this kind of stuff, because
he wants to win desperately.
He does. I mean, he kind of he could host. Us. He could host this podcast.
Dude, he is like us. That's it. Literally, it feels like us. It feels like I honestly believe. I really do, and I don't think there's another owner in sports that I would say this about. I think John, and I don't know them all. I'm sure there's another one, but like that I know of, like. I don't think there's another owner who wants to win as much as we do as John Middleton. Like, I actually think he might want to win more than I do. And I don't know that that's possible, but I think he might. Every single
time he talks, I feel like he's talking to us and our listeners. I really do. Like, it's just,
I just do.
I'm worried about the window. Gotta keep the window open. We don't want to trade all our prospects. Have you seen Justin Crawford? Have you seen Aiden Miller? Have you seen Andrew Painter? Yeah. So I appreciate him so much from that standpoint. And I hope that my overarching feel off of the interview that he did with Gelb is I'm so happy that he was upset. And I don't think he's going to go in and blow the whole thing up. I don't think that's going to happen. But I just like that someone down there can have the feel of a fan. You don't always want owners and GMs to be fans because fan stands for fanatics or whatever. And sometimes it can be irrational, the fourth down decisions.
We're very reasonable and but always thinking very clearly and making rational.
But having a finger on the pulse and saying this isn't good enough, it's just so refreshing, especially in a day and age in baseball where they care so much more about just having a good bottom line and
the vast majority of owners.
And I hope it comes to fruition this offseason where they can make real moves. But I now have a feeling that we're not going to head into spring training with essentially the same team, and that's exciting because I'm just ready for some fresh blood.
I mean, listen to this quote. This is a quote directly from John Middleton. We have to be willing to think about things that maybe we weren't willing to think about in the last 2 off seasons. I mean,
what does that mean?
But it means,
that's what I can't figure out.
I think it means that we have to be willing to think about trading Alec Boehm. We have to be willing to think about trading Nick Castellanos. Or we have to be willing to think about doing something we might not have done because of culture, because of chemistry, because of this, because of that, whatever. I think he's saying we just have to be open to change and be willing to make changes because this group is not working. And that's the exact point we're trying to make here.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is interesting. Their first decision was to keep the whole coaching staff.
It was weird. It was weird.
So they definitely think they definitely still believe it was a player's issue. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So that kind of stuff I think is just really good, really interesting.
I mean, here's another one, right? But there's another quote where he goes, some of that is we just have guys who chase too much and they have to stop. They just have to become more disciplined. It's not enough to say, well, look, is just the way the person is. The person has to change.
Yeah, it's very.
And that's strong stuff, and that feels very pointed too. Like that's one of the ones where I'm like, oh, Trey, hey, Trey, you listening, big dog? Because that's talking to these guys that he's paid $1 million to and being like, hey, man, like, it's not good enough excuse. Just be like, well, I'm a swinger. Like, no, you're not. Like, learn to be better.
He was.
I love it.
He was sitting.
I'm like getting so fired up.
He was sitting in the owner's suite or whatever at the games, being like pacing.
Oh my god,
had to be pacing
oh
around.
My god,
yes. Stop swinging.
He's probably yelling. What are you doing? Stop swinging. It was a ball. Like, yeah, I'm sure.
Stop chasing.
Again, I saw John here. He was in our studios or something. It was like 2 months after London, and he was still mad that they lost that second game in London. Like, he was still talking to me. He was like, yo, we should have won that one. Like, the guy is so competitive. He desperately wants to win.
The high point of the season.
I know.
The David Dahl pinch hit home run.
Yeah, well, that one was probably the day before. Yes.
Yes, the David Dahl pinch hit home run. It was a watershed moment. And then Taiwan shoved. And
Taiwan shoved. Taiwan's best outing of the year.
He's the best pitcher London's ever seen.
That's true.
He is. Yeah. Out of all the guys that have pitched over there.
Can he pitch all his games from London? Is that can we do like a simulated thing?
Him and the Jags, man. Yeah, they're going to be only participating in London.
What does that say about London?
I don't know. They love
good.
Somehow the splitters split more in London. Yeah. Better gravity. That's what it is. It's as simple as that. So
that's how that works.
Yeah, sure it is. It sure is. It sure is. More aggressive gravity is in London. Yeah. But no, it was a good thing to read, and he's mad, and I like that he's mad, and now it's on Dave. And now it wasn't great. Dave was on MLB Network this morning, and he said, the Dodgers, they kept the same team together, and
Dave, what are you doing? All right, real quick then, before we move on, because I do want to get to the Nightingale report, and then we'll get to Aiden Miller, and then after that,
the perfect.
I know.
He said, you see the Dodgers the last couple of years, they got knocked out of the first round, and all of a sudden they're in the World Series. Hopefully, we can do the same thing.
He does realize they signed Shohei Ohtani, right? Is that something they signed the richest contract in the history of the sport? Let's just not forget that there. And that was the whole thing with the Yankees and the Dodgers, where it's like, oh, these guys just kept plugging away. It's like, well, the Yankees went out and got Juan Soto, and the Dodgers went out and got Shohei Ohtani. I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Probably not.
And
by the way, the Dodgers pitching staff that's on IL would be arguably the best pitching staff in baseball.
I know. All right, quick question for you, then we'll get to the Nightingale report. But what do you make of that then? Like, what do you make of the fact that on the same day, there's an article coming out from Matt Gelb where John Middleton is saying not good enough, blah, 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 this and that. And then Dave Dombrowski's on MLB not the same way and be like, we'll see what happens.
I think he's just being coy. Okay, I really do.
That's the way I would lean too, but it is weird mixed messaging.
It sure is. I think he doesn't want to tip his hand. I think he doesn't want to say we got to get rid of certain players. Mm-hmm. I think he just, and it doesn't really benefit him say.
He's going to do it all behind the scenes.
Exactly. And that's what good GMs do. It's frustrating to hear.
I think we just get used to Dave being so like open and honest with us. Well, it's almost like.
But the fact that he is changing his tune and could mean there's a lot of irons in the fire.
Some moves coming, baby.
Well, I do like that the second that he was already like Dombrowski had already had 3 huge meetings.
I know. It was like I got in the morning and he was already grilling people. It's like what?
No, so are we.
He's already talked to everybody. Yeah. Dave must have been listening here and be like, "Ooh, I don't think I came off intense enough there." Let me be in the meetings, but I won't report anything. I just want to know what they sound like. I know. I swear, I won't say a thing.
I won't say a thing. I won't report anything.
I'll sign an NDA. I don't care.
I just want to know what it's like.
Yeah.
like it has to be the most thrilling thing in the world. I mean, sure, there's pressure.
What a thrill.
Being able to be like, hey, here's what I think we should do with the future of the franchise.
And actually have those moves.
And actually be able to be the one that does it. I feel pressure when I'm building a fantasy baseball team.
I know.
Imagine doing it for real.
I can only imagine.
Oh, man. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. But yeah, I don't really believe anything.
Like pressure, though.
Oh, my gosh.
Like that. Yeah. Like I always say, if it's true, you have millions of people's hopes and dreams resting on your shoulders. It's a spot.
Yeah. But I really think it's just as simple as there's no advantage. These guys are under contract. You know, whether I mean Bohm's under contract.
If you say, oh, we'd love to get rid of Alec Bohm, how does that help you trade Alec Bohm?
Well, and you can't say we're looking for upgrades at third base and left field.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't say it.
So it sucks, but
you could probably say left field.
you could probably say we're looking for a little bit of thump in left field.
Yeah, you get away with that, I think.
Little preview, by the way, of my perfect offseason. I got a bunch of slap hitters.
Oh,
I'm going anti-power, baby.
That's what you
gap to gap
all
and walks.
Fields. All right, we're gonna learn to hit out of all fields.
You know who is adaptable to chase rates and who is okay chasing? My perfect offseason.
There it is.
Yeah, that's right. We're not striking out once.
I can't wait. Somehow he's trading for Luis Arias. I don't know how.
No.
All right. Quickly before Aiden, the Bob Nightingale report comes out. Look, nothing earth-shattering, but the first we've heard of anyone saying the Phillies are open to trading Alec Bohm, Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh are the three names that were in there. What'd you make?
I think that's obvious.
Thanks, Bob.
I think that's obvious.
Thanks, Bob.
Castellanos has been on the market, I think, for the last couple of years.
Every offseason.
He's gotten to the point for me where
I'll believe it when he's gone.
Well, but he's also just too important to this team.
That's what it's that I don't think you're going to get anything for him that is better than what he'll give you. I agree.
So what's the point?
Bohm and Marsh, who knows? But Bohm for sure. I think there's value there as a trade.
There's value there. Starting all-star. Third baseman.
This guy's an all-star.
Come on.
Yeah.
He's an all-star. I think Bohm's the name. I just do.
Yeah,
I think obviously outside of signing Juan Soto,
which is the move.
We wanted him to sign Juan Soto.
Official high ups position.
I feel as if they'd probably be okay adding a left fielder and then having Marsh and Rojas in center field.
Oh, great. People will love it.
Well, as long as it's a pretty good player in left field.
People will be sad. Yeah, if it's Juan Soto, it's a different story.
And this is
if
all
Anthony Santander. We'll see.
Well, no, he's good. He just doesn't walk at all.
No, he's a bad fit.
But
I mean,
44 home runs. We'll take
Switch
it.
Hitter.
I don't know anything on this. It just feels like Bohm. It all just feels like Bohm.
I agree.
And I don't think they want to just give him away. I don't think they want to just do that. I think they want to try to use real value. I mean, the fact that, again, he got benched in the playoffs.
Big time.
I think the crying in Kansas City drove them nuts. I think that's the move. If there's one move they make of shaking the core up, quote unquote, because I don't really know where else he'd go.
Yeah.
Like Stott's not even being mentioned, which I find interesting. Seems like they believe in obviously Stott going forward. It feels like a Bohm trade's going to happen this offseason.
Yeah.
So
I would think though after this, or I would be surprised if something doesn't happen to the core.
They can't. Yeah. At this point, if they run it back, I'd be floored.
I'd be floored. I'd be really shocked.
The other quote I found interesting from Nightingale was about the Phillies can't believe they don't have a ring in the Bryce Harper era, and after knocking on the door the past few years, they're willing to make a huge move to change their fate. I mean,
interesting.
If that doesn't sound like
Juan Soto,
if that doesn't sound like Juan Soto, I don't know what.
I think Juan Soto. It's going to come down to where does Juan Soto want to go? Because I think Middleton will. Like, I don't think they're like the difference between 600 million or 575 or 625 or whatever. I know Soto say it'll be just about the money, but my point being that I think Middleton, if they're really all in, I think he'll meet any of those numbers, right? Like, what's the difference to John Middleton between 625 and 600?
The new investors.
And the new
investors.
By the way, real quick on the new investors before I forget, who buys a baseball team and stays anonymous? Like, what are you doing? Who are you? What a mysterious thing to do. Like, the whole point of owning a baseball team is to like be out there and be like, hey, I'm an owner of this team. Look at this. I own this team. I'll come to the games. I'm an owner.
Maybe it's
like,
maybe it's me.
What? Spot needs to make a little more money for that to happen.
Maybe it's me.
What a move, though, right?
Well,
like,
listen, some people like to move in silence.
Like, weird.
Yeah,
it's good.
What if it's Lori?
I'm not ripping.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not ripping it. I'm just saying you agree it's a little weird, right? I don't ever remember hearing about that.
No.
Yeah.
No. A silent investor in a sports team.
In a sports team. Like, it doesn't happen very often.
No. And I'm pretty the new owners thing. I was ready to do an emergency podcast. I really was.
I bet you were.
You kidding me? You get more money? Yeah, to go after Juan Soto, spend whatever it takes.
The timing is notable.
It's 100% notable.
Yeah.
And around the same time that they want to expand the sports complex down there, so we can. And they brought in construction people.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy how that all works. And
it actually is kind of great.
Well, and they're building a whole new complex down in Clearwater. They brought in people that are specialized in construction and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all interesting.
And it's good. I think it's a good thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going after a guy that wants the top dollar on the market. You're going against a guy that's worth how many billions? How many billions? Steve Cohen,
like 20 or 18 or something.
Who needs it?
He is so much richer than all the other. I think he might be richer than like multiple owners combined. So,
sure. Well, guess what? Yeah, we got our guys now. So yeah, I was fired.
Maybe
up.
Steve Cohen's the anonymous.
What if he was?
He's just trying to, to get as many chances.
He's trying to get Juan Soto no matter what.
Sure.
But again, there's a lot. I legitimately believe the Phillies have a better chance of getting Juan Soto than the Yankees. I really do.
Because of how?
I don't think he wants to spend.
I don't
money.
either.
Dude, they just did the weird thing with Garrett Cole yesterday, where it's like Garrett Cole opts in he opted out, but then he opted in on the contract with the Yankees picked it up, and then they agreed to the same contract he was already signed to.
It's so weird. I said someone on Twitter said this is the best analogy I've seen for it. It's like when Costanza quit the Yankees job and then just went back in the next day to work. It's like this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just we're back. Same thing.
Nothing changed.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to pay him. I really don't. I think
that's a fair take.
The biggest thing the Yankees.
I think the Phillies and the Mets should be considered the front.
I couldn't believe the odds.
Yeah.
The odds on
Are
FanDuel,
the Yankees a favorite?
Well, yeah, but the Phillies were like behind the Nationals and the Blue Jays at like plus 3,900.
What?
I know.
Sounds like a betting opportunity.
Not that I would ever be a gambler.
Yeah. All right.
Actually, no, I gotta look and see if I saw it on there. But the Phillies should not be behind a lot of those things. I think it's actually a Phillies Yankees or Phillies Mets Yankees.
Yeah, I think those are the top three.
Yeah.
Just
wild.
Juan Soto.
Right there.
All right.
It's right there.
Someone who will be playing a teammate of Juan Soto.
Hopefully.
Soon.
As long as they don't trade him.
Let's get to it. They're not trading. No. Let's not even joke. They're not. They're just not. We're gonna say they're not.
Yeah.
It's over. It's officially no. He's untradeable.
Hey, no Aiden, no high hopes.
There you go. Oh,
laying down the gauntlet.
Don't leave after the Aiden interview.
We're not going anywhere.
Unless you don't want to hear another perfect offseason from Jack. But if you want to, stay tuned. We'll get to that in a minute. But here, for the first time, I'm sure of many, new friend of the pod, Aiden Miller. That was a really quick interview.
Got a lot done.
For those who don't know, we had recorded it before. So if you're watching the YouTube, that was like 5 seconds for you, but it's actually longer than that. And
we'll post it on YouTube.
You will post on YouTube, but it'll be separate. It won't be in. You didn't just post it in the 5 seconds between me saying that.
Come on, Tucker. What are you doing?
Make sure people know.
Oh yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, check it out. It'll be on YouTube. But awesome. Thank you, Aiden, for joining us. That was really, really neat. Really cool to get to talk to us. Obviously, very kind with his time. That was very cool. All right, let's go.
Okay, perfect offseason 2.0. On board edition. Obviously, the first move is signing Mike Soroka for
lead with it.
2 years, $14 million. I gotta know.
Did you up it since it wasn't a 1-year deal last time?
Yeah. Well,
you're locking it in.
Well,
you are getting Mike Soroka no matter what.
I'll bid it.
He hasn't even responded to the gun. You're like, I'll go over the top.
I'll bid against myself.
You are.
But no,
in this case, you literally are.
No, I'm not.
In this case, you
are. He was on MLB Trade Rumors top free agents, and they had a signing projection for him for 2 years, $14 million.
So you had to go with it.
So I had to go with it. I had to up my offer.
Okay.
I had to up my offer. By the way, how about Nick Pivetta? How about that?
Wait, a 4 year, 6? Are you? Wait, he's part of your.
No, I'm just saying that he got a qualifying offer.
Oh yeah,
$21 million.
Wow, I know he's gonna get.
But I was told he sucked.
He's gonna get paid, man. I saw 4 for 60 as a guess for him. How about that?
Bring him home.
So I think Spot Track at 4 for 60 or something.
So
like that.
I was
something like that.
I was so ready to put I was so ready to put Eovaldi in my perfect offseason.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a tradition unlike any other. Until I saw it was like a 3-year, $44 million deal or something. I was like, they're not going to do that.
Nope.
They're not going to spend that kind of money on a fifth starter.
Nope.
What if you do?
Andrew Painter.
Yes. Yeah. But I do have a fifth starter.
Okay.
I'm curious
until Andy's ready.
Well, against Andrew.
I agree with you, but he's going by Andy, so we gotta fight about this.
So, and I'm curious your thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm signing one of Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander to a 1-year deal.
I don't hate it at all.
I mean, Verlander definitely trending towards being cooked.
Yeah, I mean Scherzer has barely been healthy.
Yeah. You know, hanging on by a thread.
I would take Scherzer for a year. Give me Max Scherzer for a year.
Just 1 year.
I'm in.
It's 1 year.
I'm in.
$15 million.
And honestly, you really only need him for half a season.
Exactly.
I love it.
Give me one of those guys.
I love it.
They're definitely done.
Give me old Two Eyes. Yeah. I'll take him.
And bring back Girardi. We can all talk about how Girardi this was spider tack.
Oh yeah, yeah. We can have Scherzer and Nola reminisce about that 2018 start.
Then when I was in Costa Rica,
you could tell the story.
It'd be amazing. I just need one of those guys.
I honestly normally I'd be out on this. I'm fully.
Thank you.
It's a great.
A nice little fifth starter.
Yeah. You won me over very quickly on this.
Thank you. Sign one of them. I'm making a trade.
Ooh.
I think this will be enough. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I assume it would be. I'm trading Dante Nori, Starling Caba.
Quick. You're turning on Dante quick. Just got here.
Well, we'll see. I'm trading Devin Saltaban.
This is a package right here.
And
we better be getting something back.
And I guess if they want Mick Abel, I could see them wanting Mick Abel.
Or Mick.
I know.
It's really fallen.
Poor Mick. Some people still believe.
But for what it's worth, Mick, to the conversation we had before about keeping the farm system stuff, Mick is an example of should have traded guy. Well, like they should have traded that guy when he had real value.
He's only 22 in AAA.
That's true. That's true.
You gotta factor that in. Yeah. Maybe he's a late bloomer.
That's true.
To the Cardinals.
Is this for a third baseman?
No, it's for Ryan Helsley and Brendan Donovan.
Oh.
I need Brendan Donovan. I need Brendan
Helsley. I mean, you get a legit closer in that.
I know.
Like
only 1 year though.
50 saves last year.
I know. Only 1 year. So the value might be down.
Brendan Donovan.
3 years of control.
Ooh.
I love Brendan Donovan. I love Brendan Donovan.
Okay. I thought you were giving me an Arenado trade. Right?
No, that's him. I might actually do.
I need one offseason with an Arenado trade. I was this close to putting it in mine.
I might do a perfect offseason of the moves Dave would make.
Yeah, it feels like a Dave.
Arenado, Dave's walking in to the analytics department and
guys, guess what I can do?
I got an idea.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame third baseman.
Imagine bring him in.
Imagine Schmidt, dude. Schmidt would be so happy. Schmidt loves it.
It's like he's guy. He's like me.
I would talk myself into Arenado so fast.
Me too. I think he's cooked, but I would definitely talk myself.
Now he's got 3
years of
$74 million.
So that was literally why he was not in my perfect deadline. I was like, I don't know if he's got a year left. That'd be an interesting guy to fill in the gap.
Dude,
then I looked at it. I was like, well, not doing that one.
None of these guys have a year left. I was looking at Springer as an idea. Doesn't have a year left.
Wow.
None of these guys have a year left. They all have at least 3 at super horrible money. So, but I think Taiwan would look great in a Cardinals uniform if you want to flip around.
Taiwan, you could just say Taiwan would look great in a blank uniform that is not the Phillies.
Exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right. I heard he loves the Midwest.
I did too. They love pictures of food out there. I've heard. If you take a picture of what you're going to eat, he would say that's his thing, right?
I don't know.
I feel like he's always posting pictures of food, Taiwan.
You seem like a big posting pictures of food guy.
Oh, yeah. That's
and all your social media craze.
Yeah, me.
I'm signing Sixto Sanchez to a minor league deal. Come on.
Bring him home.
I need him and Darno in the same offseason, baby. Sixto, probably cooked, but just for the story. As on a minor league deal, let him see if there's anything there. Soroka and Sixto, same offseason.
Oh, buddy.
You talk about get excited.
2019 me is jacked up right now.
I'm signing one of Andrew Kittredge and Kirby Yates. Don't know which one. Don't care which one. I'll take both.
I'd rather have Kittredge, but they're close. They're same age essentially. So.
Yeah.
35, 34.
Yeah. And then my second big trade.
Ooh, a double banger.
Yeah. I'm trading Bohm, Arun Escobar, who actually might be really good and is probably an irresponsible trade here. But I needed some other name that popped. Christian McGowan, who they might not be able to protect in the Rule 5, but has good stuff.
Dustin's brother.
It is. Sure is.
Oh, I have no idea.
He's not. Not even close. But I'm trading him to the Giants for Lamont Wade.
Yes!
Yeah, and Bone can play first. Yep, had to do it.
Oh, we did it.
Had to do it.
Down, we're set.
Shut it down.
World Series champions.
Don't even want soda.
Wade standing at the front of the parade, carrying the trophy because he's the World Series MVP.
Listen, his knees are that of a 50-year-old, but that's all right. He's only going to be playing left field.
Can I ask you a question? Do you need better knees than a 50-year-old to walk? I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't steal a base. No doubles.
You're just going to walk every time. People in Philly want walks right now.
Yes.
People aren't going to chase. Guess what? We found your man.
By the way, Brendan Donovan, 6th lowest strikeout percentage in baseball last year.
See, you're really this is a targeted thing. And
yes.
I like this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Lamont Wade is an on-base percentage. He's the Euclid.
He's like Euclid.
The Greek god of walks.
Yeah, he is. Which is so funny because he's not Greek.
Regardless, Lamont Wade, and have no fear, Giants fans. He can play first. So I know you signed Matt Chapman to the big contract, but Bone can play first. There you go.
Oh,
there you go. I'm looking out for you too.
That's nice because they're really in on the excitement of Matt Chapman being there for the next 6 years.
He's good.
He was great this year, but
and
he's also had some down years. I don't know.
Dude, Boris screwed the third base market. I mean, it seems like Bregman might get like 7,200, which is crazy.
What?
Because of the
Couldn't be
Chapman deal.
Couldn't be more out on that.
I'll take Breg on 130 and less. That's it. I'm not paying.
And also not 7 years. Like I can't have Bregman at 38 or 39 hobbling around out there with Trey next to him. Like, are you kidding me? Or Trey in the outfield and Harper hobbling around at first. We're going to be the oldest team in the history of sports in a few years. It's going to be great.
Yep. And then I'm signing Travis Darno.
Because the one constant.
Yeah. Yes.
We all right.
The option was declined for $8 million.
I saw that. We got to make a deal.
Yeah.
No matter how many of these you get up to, that has to be on everyone.
Well, it's Soroka and Travis Darno.
Yeah, they got to be on everyone. Like I need them on everyone.
And Kittredge might as well be a part of it.
Why not? I love the guy.
Yeah. I can't tell what. So I'm not. The biggest problem with that team would be there's no like obvious thumper.
None. It's like you're really relying on like Harper and Castellanos did some home runs.
We are a gap to gap team.
Well, it's funny to get rid of Bohm and not get any power forward.
Well, what's so funny? I was thinking about this last night as I was putting it together. I said to myself, I need Brendan Donovan. I love Brendan Donovan. And he would be my everyday third baseman. He hit 14 home runs last year. I'm getting rid of a guy who hit 14 home runs last year. But I'm ready to get rid of that guy.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great point.
But Brendan Donovan, I need.
A really good point. Yeah.
Switch hitter, though.
Yeah.
So,
better defender.
And he can play left field and he can play second base. And he's just very versatile. Now, I think the lineup.
He's not a crybaby, which helps.
I think the lineup would have to be, because I need some thump in the middle of the lineup, it would have to be Lamont Wade lead off.
What this is a slap hitty lineup.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're getting on base.
Spraying it all over the field.
We're gap to gap. You got to factor in CBP where you get some kind of home run bump.
Yeah.
But I think the lineup would go Lamont Wade, Bryce, Trey, Schwarber, Castellanos, Stott, JT, Marsh, Brendan Donovan. Yeah. That's what I got.
It's a lineup.
Thank you.
It's a major league.
You know what they're going to do, James? You know what they're going to do? Besides
get on base.
Besides the third hitter in the lineup and the fifth hitter in the lineup.
Not going to chase.
They're not going to chase. Yeah. And that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I care about.
See, at least John cares about it too.
Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Ranger, Painter, Verlander.
Come in on that.
Come on, man. Dream with me on 40-year-old Justin Verlander.
I'll say it again. Some of that is we have guys who chase too much and they have to stop. They just have to become more disciplined.
Dude,
it's not enough to say, well, look, this is just the way the person is. The person has to change.
You know, he was fuming.
Oh, he's
watching them chase.
Furious.
Do you think he agreed with Dombrowski saying that they were actually lower than the Mets in chase rate, and that they were sixth in baseball in not chasing?
I think Dave was already talked to those three people that morning.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure he was not thrilled. Oh,
I can get Matt Klentak back here right now.
Yeah, you want me to bring back Klentak? He's very available. I only have like two things real quick
more stuff
in the mailbag. In the mailbag.
Poor Tucker.
Tucker's
Look at his face.
Tucker thought it was gonna be a 5-minute podcast.
You told me it was.
Did you? The article happened, Tucker. The article happened, and Scott Kingery got traded. Yeah. All right, okay. We have to break down the Kingery trade.
Do we?
They needed more money for Soto. They needed more money for
That's
Soto.
Exactly what it was. You're right.
Yes,
every dollar counts.
This $50,000 we're getting back.
Every dollar counts.
Yep. So I'm rooting for Kingery.
That's the best thing I've heard on.
Thank you, Turner and Bone for Trout and Rendon. Turner and Bone for Trout and Rendon.
You know that's not. It won't save us money, sadly. It costs us money.
We had to bring in new owners because of the Kingery deal. And then the only final thing I meant to bring up about Soto, we have to factor in that he's gonna have opt-outs. So it's really a 3-year,
that's a really
$150 million contract.
No one's gonna do the Bryce thing.
No one's gonna do the Bryce thing. So
great point.
So he's gonna sign.
It's a really good call.
He's gonna opt out.
The heart of his best prime, and then
and then he walks if you want.
A great
Thank you.
So I didn't even think about it.
So John, this is strictly for John Middleton. Just give him a 3-year, $150 million deal. That's $50 million a year.
Yeah, and
then let him opt out. You can extend it as long as you want. He's going to opt out. There's no doubt about it. He's a Boris client, cares about money, all that stuff. There's a 0% chance that he's signing a 15-year, $650 million deal and playing the entire thing through without some kind of opt out. And if I'm Juan Soto, this is for Juan. This is for Juan Soto. Hey,
also a big.
Don't you want to play with your friends for 3 years?
Yeah,
and then you can go back to New York.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. But you get
the world's your oyster.
Get reunited with Bryce and Turner and Schwarber and Kevin Long
before they're all too old for you to play anymore.
Yeah, before it's over. Come on, Juan. You're gonna opt out.
Do it, Juan.
Come on.
I believe in you, Juan.
Yeah,
this is great.
Thank you.
You did great today.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, this was a hell of a 5-minute pod. I thought it was great. Tucker
got one more thing.
Can't wait.
Tucker's like me. I'm like chilling.
I have to go nap.
There it is. All right. Next week, I'm sure we'll be back next week. I think something to talk about. Perfect off season 3.0.
Yeah. What trades can we make?
Yeah,
next?
Can't wait to find that out.
Only
sure Tucker will think it's a 10-minute pod, be an hour pod. We'll make it work. It'll be good. We'll keep the bit going.
There's gonna be no power hitters.
Yeah,
only guys that get on base.
Who knows? Maybe a move will happen because it's open. Things can happen.
Things can happen. I see. Honestly, just give me rumors.
That's all you need.
Yeah, come on, man.
Look, just give us more than last offseason, all right? We can't be doing, this is boring. Part
Anything
1, 2, 3,
to make me not focus on whatever I have to do.
Yep.
For work.
So
I just want to focus. I just want to talk about the Phillies.
Okay. So with that in mind, go focus on your work. We'll be back next week. Until then, he's heard himself.